Brace yourself. It's that time again. Welcome to Unfiltered. Oh, what a week. Let's start off by congratulating two winners. All the season finales were this week. And Dancing with the Stars, Apollo Ono won. The Olympic speed skater.
Yes.
And that's the second time that an athlete's won that competition.
He was great.
And the finale of Idol, American Idol, was on last night, and apparently Jordan Sparks won. I was working, I didn't see it, sorry. I've been boycotting that show for like years now, so.
Blake shouldn't even have been there.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Husband-wife team in school the other night.
All the, yes, we have Jane back with us, that's great. I want to say hi to the folks at Swansea. I've heard I have a big following out in Swansea. You folks know who you are, so. Yeah, anyway, that's kind of my little opening thing. I don't watch either Dancing with the Stars or Idol, but apparently it's big news when they announce the winner. So anyway, something that's coming up in August that I wanted to read. There was an editorial in the Sentinel tonight, a letter from one of the readers, talking about this Blitz build that for an Alstead family. And it's the Monadnock Habitat for Humanity. They're going to be building a house in 1 week. It's kind of like that extreme home makeover there with Ty Pennington. And it's going to take place from August 18th to August 25th. And it'll be all volunteer. Let's see, and they're going to be helping somewhere I thought it said a family of mother and father and like 10 kids or something. A big family, anyway. And I can't find it here now.
Is this local?
It's local, yeah. It's going to be be overseen by a professional builder, Ted Benson, who I believe owns a woodworking company over in Brattleboro called Benson Wood. And
Yeah, Benson Wood Homes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was with the cabinet company, they did we did some work for them.
Yeah.
They do like arched windows and all kinds of really cool looking stuff. But teams are going to be assembled, and they're asking volunteer subcontractors to come in and like head different crews. So if you want more information about it, you can contact Habitat for Humanity at 357-8474. Or you can call Ted Benson at 756-3600. But I'll keep you informed on what's going on with that. All right. That one's done. Now we're going to get into, this has been irking me since yesterday. For anybody who doesn't know, the roundabout construction project is underway. And apparently a while ago, there was a contest in the lower grade schools, like kindergarten to third grade or something, and they asked all these kids to design the detour for this roundabout project. And apparently, I don't know, a first grader won or something, but here's the scoop. There is a four-way stop now on Main Street at the corner of Emerald, Eagle, and Main. That is a four-way stop. Stop there or you will be issued tickets. I saw 3 of them issued just last night for people that blew right through there. There's also a three-way stop at the corner of Grove Street and Water Street. Stop there. Grove Street is now one way from Marlborough Street to Water Street. I saw a dozen people turning the wrong way down it. And I mean,
Is it posted?
it is posted, but I don't think people don't realize yet, because people are blowing through the stop signs. They're driving down the wrong way on one-way streets now.
But they've been driving that road for years.
The thing is, if you want to get in a car from Cumberland Farms to the funeral home on Marlborough Street, you have to go all the way to Eastern Ave and across and back down, or you have to go out Winchester Street to the highway and back down and come in that back way through all them small side streets.
Yeah.
Idiotic. Let me tell you, like I said, a first grader must have designed that detour plan, because I'd hate to think it was one of our city officials that did that and planned that whole mess. And meanwhile, the roundabout's going on down on Main Street. I came from Maple Court onto Court Street today on the way down here to the studio, and there was a line of cars on Court Street waiting to turn left onto Maple Ave that was stopped and backed up to the Legion. Yeah, maybe that is where the roundabout should have gone, up there. Because you couldn't get in or out of 7-Eleven, you couldn't get in or out of Paul's Choice or Geno's, you barely get in and out of the bank there. So I mean, somebody's got to open their eyes when they look around Keene and see what's going on, and I don't know. Let's see.
They're trying to hurt all the people.
Water at Grove, one-way, four-way stop. Yeah, I didn't really check the other end of town to see how traffic was flowing over there. But apparently somebody told me that 101 and Winchester Street was backed up pretty good, like it always is. Hey, geez, it's 10 after 7. That sounds like the crew from Bike Night at Geno's going by. Yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, this weekend is Memorial Day. And I wanted to, I pulled the origins of Memorial Day because I wanted people, some of these younger people, to know what Memorial Day means, and that, granted, it's, you know, a lot of kids these days think that Memorial Day is just, oh, it's like 2 weeks to graduation or whatever, and the beginning of summer and time for picnics and potato salad. But it means a lot more than that. And actually, it was a lot of states claim to be the first state to have a Memorial Day. But it was basically between 1866 and 1868, right after the Civil War had ended. The head of an organization of former Union soldiers and sailors, the Grand Army of the Republic, established Decoration Day. And it was set aside as a time for the nation to decorate the graves of the war dead with flowers. And it was started by Major General John A. Logan, and he declared that it should be May 30th. And the first large observance was held at Arlington National Cemetery, May 30th of 1868, and at that time the cemetery already held 20,000 Union dead and several hundred Confederate dead. So imagine the number of people that have died since then that are in that cemetery. And the ceremonies centered around the mourning draped veranda of the Arlington Mansion, once the home of General Robert E. Lee and Mrs. Grant and other Washington officials. And there were speeches from the soldiers and sailors. There were speeches, and the children of the Soldiers and Sailors Orphan Home and members of the GAR made their way through the cemetery, strewing flowers on both Union and Confederate graves, reciting prayers and singing hymns. Now, there's always been arguments as to who was the first. And today, cities in the North and South both claim to be the birthplace of Memorial Day in 1866. Macon and Columbus, Georgia claim the title, as well as Richmond, Virginia. A stone in a Carbondale, Illinois cemetery carries the statement that the first Decoration Day ceremony took place on April 29th, 1866. And that was the wartime home of General Logan. The official birthplace was declared in 1966 by Congress and President Lyndon Johnson when they declared Waterloo, New York, the birthplace of Memorial Day. And there was a ceremony on May 5th, 1866, was reported to have honored local soldiers. Businesses closed, and residents flew flags at half-mast. And by the end of the 19th century, Memorial Day was being held on May 30th throughout the nation. And the Army and Navy adopted regulations for proper observance at their facilities. And it wasn't until after World War I that the day was expanded to honor those who have died in all of America's wars, and not just the Civil War. 1971, Memorial Day was declared a national holiday by an act of Congress, and it's still often called Decoration Day by some of the older folks. And it was then also placed on the last Monday in May. And so we've got him. Tarzan, how's it going, buddy?
Hey Rick, how the hell are you?
Good, man. I wanted somebody patriotic and a veteran to talk to tonight about Memorial Day, man.
Okay.
So, do you do anything special?
Well, that's strange that you asked because I've got a lot of stuff out in my weight room that represents the veterans that have fought for my family in the World War II, and I'm always passing them every day and looking at them and thinking about what a sacrifice they made and what a sacrifice our young men and women of today are making.
Right, exactly.
And it just seems like it's never going to end.
And I don't think that a lot of the younger people these days realize that that's what the day is really all about, is honoring the fallen soldiers that have died for our freedoms.
Exactly, Rick. And it's hard for me to enjoy the national pastime, which is, for me, would be baseball. And it's hard to focus on a baseball game when you have troops over in Iraqistan that dying.
Yeah, and soon to be Iran by the looks of it now, right?
Right. And we've sat down and had 5 or 6 intelligent conversations, and we've always gone to that, and I really appreciate your thoughts.
Well,
coming back to me with your thoughts, and this call was very important to me too.
Well, it's important to me too, Tarzan. It's been a few weeks since I dumped the phone calls, and
Yeah.
I miss talking to you every week.
Oh, thanks, me too.
And I knew I wanted somebody that had some patriotic spirit in him, to talk to tonight, because it is an important holiday weekend coming up.
Exactly.
And we should remember, have your picnics or whatever. Think of it as your first day of summer, first official day of summer, as some like to call it.
Right.
But take a few minutes anyway, and remember how we got here.
Exactly. There's a, I feel as Americans, we have to get out and visit the monuments that are throughout the country.
Yeah.
The Vietnam Veteran Memorial, it's called, they also call it the Moving Wall, and it visits states all over.
Right. I would love to see that come to Keene.
It's a very intense place to be at and experience.
Yeah.
The Moving Wall itself, I saw it at the Tech in Concord back in '89, '90. And
okay.
It nearly brought me to my knees, and just the thought of the
do you
wall
know-
was just so impressive.
Do you know if they're adding names from Iraq onto that wall?
Geez, Rick, I don't know that. I wish I could tell you.
You know, I wonder if there is a place where they're putting the names, a monument where they're putting the names from Iraq yet.
That's a good question. We'll have to have someone go on the internet here and find out.
Yeah.
And today, you know, I have a total of 3,430 deaths today in this Iraqistan war, and
Yeah.
it's something that we have to talk about. People on TV are talking about it and fighting on TV about it.
Right,
It's become such a pain.
At this point, you know, I don't know. You know, it's kind of scary the way they talk about what's going to happen if we pull out. But my feeling is maybe we should pull out and just level the place with bombs. You know, put an end to it altogether. Put an end to, you know, the entire area over there. Would just wipe out every living thing.
That's almost like a quote from John McCain and singing the Beach Boys song. Did you see that?
I missed that.
Oh my word, Rick!
All I've been catching from McCain is what I see on Glenn Beck or The Daily Show, you know, and he's doing some pretty funny things these days.
and how can the politicians of today even look themselves in the mirror and come out of the bathroom clean shaven?
I don't know, and I've got some more stuff further in the show that's going to prove that exact point, Tarzan, too.
And my thought is, they ought to be looking like Abe Lincoln, haggard, bearded, downtrodden, and their shoulders are slumped, and they should feel terrible.
Exactly, they should have the weight of the country on their shoulders, and they don't.
Exactly.
They
And
don't.
Bush
They're
thought
above
he was
that.
firing up the country today, but I'm not sure he was firing the country up. I think he
somebody
was
needs to
firing up
fire
the
it up.
reporters
But-
more than anything. You know, I do have an uncle that was killed in 1946 in a car accident, and he had spent his time in the Navy,
Okay.
and he had been involved in 19 engagements and in several battles, and he was a BM-1C in the Navy,
Yeah.
which I think is a boatsman.
A bosun's
something.
mate. Yep.
Yeah, and to put yourself in his shoes, then to come back and die in a car accident, that was kind of sad for our family. And
Yep.
the headline read for the Plymouth paper that day, Plymouth Brothers homecoming saddened by news of brother's death. And
Yeah.
These were two other guys that were my uncles, Staff Sergeant Rowland and Tech 5 Earl. They were in, and that's a memory that I keep out in the open all the time of these guys in their uniforms. It's more of a yearly thing with me,
Right.
instead of just one day,
Yeah.
which is
yeah.
just my way of dealing with it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I went back into some stuff that I had from a family tree, which everybody out there that's listening ought to look into it and do some research. It really brings home to a better understanding of what our forefathers and their sacrifices in their new world was.
Right. And we have to look at history, because if we don't look back at history and learn from it, it'll happen all over again. And it will.
For sure. And,
But hey, man, I'm glad we got in touch with you tonight. And
yeah, this has been very cool.
it was great talking to you again, Tarzan. And I'll call you again in another couple weeks and check in.
Okay, big guy, you take care.
All right. You have a good night and have a safe weekend.
All right, thanks, Rick.
All right. Later.
Later.
Very cool. Yeah, I knew there'd be a man there that knew what Memorial Day was all about. Something that really struck me funny about this page that I pulled was the fact that many southern states have their own day where they honor the Confederate Day, Confederate dead. And Mississippi celebrates Confederate Memorial Day the last Monday of April, Alabama on the fourth Monday of April, and Georgia on April 26th. North and South Carolina observe it on May 10th, Louisiana on June 3rd, and Tennessee calls that date Confederate Decoration Day. Texas celebrates Confederate Heroes Day January 19th, and Virginia calls the last Monday in May Confederate Memorial Day. So apparently, if you're in the South, you can like just travel around and have Memorial Day weekend like all the time.
Can you get paid for it though?
I don't think you can get paid for it. You don't get paid for holidays.
No?
No, unless you're working. But then you'd have to go down there and get a job. Uh, anyway, it says, I want to read this because this was General Logan's order in 1868 to decorate, for his post to decorate the graves with the choicest flowers of springtime. And he urged we should guard their graves with sacred vigilance, let pleasant paths invite the coming and going of reverent visitors and fond mourners. Let no neglect, no ravages of time testify to the present or to the coming generations that we have forgotten as a people the cost of a free and undivided republic. It says the crowd attending the first Memorial Day ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery was approximately the same size as those that attended today's observance, about 5,000 people. And then as now, small American flags were placed on each grave. And it says the origins of special services to honor those who die 24 centuries ago. The Athenian leader Pericles offered a tribute to the fallen heroes of the Peloponnesian War. And yeah, so anyway, that's what Memorial Day is all about. So where am I? Current news. One of the funniest things I thought this week, I saw on Glenn Beck, he had Sheriff Joe Arpaio. And if anybody doesn't know this man, he's the sheriff down in Maricopa County, Arizona. He runs a tent prison. And this is the place where all the inmates wear pink underwear, and they've got black and white striped prison uniforms. And it's the only correctional facility in the United States that offers men's, women's, and juvenile chain gangs, where they chain them together and they take them out to work, and they clean the highways or whatever they need to do, they do it. But the funny thing is Sheriff Joe said that Paris is more than welcome to come and spend her entire 45 days with him in his little tent prison. So, you know, I don't know. They'll cut her slack. He's got a ton though, and I guess it's not nice living out in the desert in a tent and eating your food in the sand, and you know, you wind up with sand everywhere. All right, I'm gonna get in. I had the show all planned, you know, a happy show, you know, and then I got today's Sentinel. Front page of today's Sentinel. You don't have to zoom in or anything because I'm going to read it. But it says, the top headline is, sorry, Bruce. The top headline says, delivery man is attacked and robbed in Keene. A pizza delivery guy, hardworking guy probably, was attacked and robbed on Kingsbury Street. So a guy trying to do his job and robbed. Yeah, trying, you know, I mean, if there was no pizza delivery, and I do remember living in Keene when there was no pizza delivery, and at 11:30 at night when you wanted pizza, you actually had to go and get pizza. And if you couldn't get out, you didn't get pizza. The other bigger headline is woman stabbed in park. And apparently this happened over in Ashwillet Park there, and the police made an arrest. It was a 29-year-old carnival employee from Mexico. From Mexico. He was legal. He had a green card. But I don't know. I'm not going to read too much because I don't want this to be a crap-ass show. I want it to be a happy show. And stuff like that just burns me worse than the roundabout. The fact is, if the government can't protect us from the people that are already in our communities, How can they protect us from terrorists?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you can't stop a 17-year-old kid from robbing a 50-year-old lady. How are you going to stop a 40-year-old terrorist who's got knowledge? You know? Can't be done. Anyway, let's get on to happier stuff. Because buried deep in the Sentinel, I found a couple of great stories. Buried, little fine print, you know. Zachary Tromby of Keene recently became an Eagle Scout with Troop 302, the Boy Scout Troop 302 here in Keene. An Eagle Scout is a big deal, you know. Eric, one of our camera guys, was an Eagle Scout. Yeah, and that's very few. I think the article said like only 2% of all Boy Scouts actually attain Eagle Scout.
Yep.
So that's fantastic. Congratulations, Zach. Or Zachary, if you prefer Zachary, sorry. It said he joined Troop 302 at the age of 6 as a Cub Scout and worked his way all the way up. That's awesome. Another great thing buried deep in the paper today was 7 Keene High juniors will attend the Advanced Studies program at St. Paul's in Concord this summer. And those students are Alma Rose Arteaga, I hope I get this right, Hyomi Cardi, Liz Provost, John Bauer, Chris LaRue, Heather Sykes, and Hillary Tandy. And congratulations to all of them. Obviously hard-working Keene High students, which is very cool.
I know some of those names sound familiar of like kids you might go to school that might be your kids.
Maybe. I did see like 2 of them that looked familiar. But maybe, I don't know. I didn't have any real friends in high school that probably could reproduce kids that are capable of that. Sorry, Craig. No offense, brother. Oh, man. I didn't really mean that, but I'm just saying. Well, I've got some birthdays today. People that are having birthdays today, famous people that are having birthdays. Tommy Chong of Cheech and Chong is 69 years old. And still puffing hardcore, I bet, man. Bob Dylan is 66 today. Patti LaBelle, 63. God, all these people are getting so old. And Roseanne Cash, even Roseanne Cash, that's Johnny Cash's daughter, is 52. Amazing, huh? Time just like flies by. What?
Andrea, so
Don't tell anybody, Andrea. You're only you're only as old as you look on TV. We try and make you look good. So. And speaking of looking good, it's that time. And we'll do a crew call. So I hope you're ready with your NASCAR news because we're coming in. On camera 2, we have Al is back. Yes. He's his little brother. He sent his little brother back home or something, but he's back on camera 2. On camera 1, we have Greg again. And he always like ducks behind his camera when we try to get a shot of him. And on the other side of the room, we have, I don't know who's coming first, but it should be, we have Jane. Oh, a nice close-up of Jane tonight, too. And we're glad to have Jane back. You know, we thought you were boycotting
No, I wasn't boycotting.
because we did away with the phone calls.
I know you did.
So, sorry. And we have Mike with us as usual. And Mike, you just had more stuff removed from the
Yeah.
inside, huh?
yeah, it's more stuff. Right?
Gallstones?
Yeah, I had gallstones before.
Looks like they still missed a few or something because you're still on the fat side.
Remember, I live in the woods, right? You're coming up this weekend, right?
I will be up, yeah. Or we'll clean your guns or something.
All right.
In the booth, we have Bruce and Andrea. How's things tonight, Bruce?
Things are going pretty well there, Rick.
Yeah, it was kind of a very smooth beginning.
Yeah, it's come off pretty good so far. We were trying to get a good shot of that paper, but you put it up there just long enough for us to try and focus in on it, and then you pulled it down. Thank you very little.
I know.
But,
I'm all right. And
that's all right. We do what we can.
only because that wasn't planned. You know, I wasn't going to show the paper, but
Well, you give my guys something to look at, and we're going to try and get you a good shot, man.
I know. And Andrea's in there too, right? Yeah, all right. I lost my shot.
Of course I'm here. Where would I be?
I don't know. Seems you stepped out last week to go to the bathroom.
Well,
in the middle of
I'm
the show.
sorry, but when you gotta go, you gotta go.
I know how that is.
I was whistling Dixie
I
in
can't
here.
say anything about any of my crew taking off in the middle of a show to go to the
It's like,
bathroom.
I gotta go.
So, how's things in NASCAR? Great all-star race this week.
NASCAR's doing good, but I want to say something first before we even get into it, because I'm going to start it with that part of NASCAR first.
Okay.
First of all, I wanted all of our viewers to know that Jane supports our troops. She does, but even though she has not been in the military, but you and Greg and even me, we have all three of us been in the Navy.
Good point.
Now, Mike and Bruce have been in the Air Force, so we are all veterans.
As has Lee. Lee was in the Air Force.
Yes, Lee was in the Air
Yeah.
Force also. So I thought our viewers should know that. This is a very patriotic crew.
Oh, this is, yeah, we're all veterans.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the Dirty Dozen, we're all veterans too.
Well, this is true. This is absolutely true. But
So we're only the dirty half dozen, you know? We'll make do.
but anyways, I was checking the NASCAR sites, and one of the things they said is that there only one flag mattered this weekend, and obviously that one being our nation's flag.
Yes.
And between the Busch Series and the Cup Series, they're going to have 10 cars that are going to be running the paint schemes for the military.
Special Memorial Day paint schemes.
Yes,
Very
special
nice.
ones. Was it the 21 is going to have an Air Force car? The 8 is going to have the camo car, and I honestly haven't seen the others, so I don't know what they're going to have.
Yeah, it seems like Mark Martin will probably have an Army car.
Yeah, he usually has the Army car, the 01.
Yeah.
So,
and who is Biffle will have probably the National Guard car.
I think Biffle will have one. You know, a lot of them usually end up with the different NASCARs, the paint schemes for the military.
Right.
But other than that, I'm going to head on to the Car of Tomorrow. NASCAR has finally decided to scrap their 3-year entrance program. They were going to phase the Car of Tomorrow in over a 3-year period of time. And after talking to the owners and everything else, they've decided to scrap that thought, and they're going to go with the Car of Tomorrow starting 2008. So
Oh,
they're going to run
great.
it exclusively.
You know, it's a hot-looking car. I like
It
the
is. It's
spoiler
an
on the
awesome
back.
car, and it almost looks like something out of James Bond,
Yeah.
with a little wing and everything.
Yep.
But then the thing is, last week we didn't have a points race, but we had a really good race weekend. Now,
All-Star, it's a big fan thing, you know?
it's a big fan race. It's the $1 million race, and of course I was excited because, whoa, should I go? Whoo, whoo, whoo. Martin Truex Jr. along with Johnny Sauter raced their way into the All-Star race. They were in what they call the Open. Then Kenny Wallace was voted in by popular fan vote.
You know, and that was great because he's one of the biggest, like, happy-go-lucky guys in NASCAR.
Everybody just absolutely loves him. And, of course, then the winner of that $1 million race was Kevin Harvick, who also owns Busch Cars, but he also owns a truck. And his truck, driven by Hornaday, actually won the truck race that weekend also. So Harvick did a really good sweep over the weekend.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to go into one thing that I thought was really kind of cool. And this is primarily for the ladies whose husbands go, what do you know? They like NASCAR. They love NASCAR. And there are 9 ladies in particular that come up from Spartanburg, South Carolina, every single solitary year. They do a little tailgating out in the parking lot, then they go in, and they're just nuts about the race. They don't have the husbands with them. They leave the husbands and boyfriends home, and they have a blast.
Oh, the husband's gonna love that.
Now, they have others in the crowd that kind of looked a little leery, but as soon as they bring out the baked goods, then they're the best of friends with everyone. But they do this every year, and they've been doing it for quite some time, and they love it. Now, guys out there, we might not know what push is. We might not know what tight is, but who cares? We know what we like. And we'll ask you 40 times what push is, what tight is, and when they say pushing like a dump truck, who cares? It's great racing. And
That's
so
fantastic.
that's it for the week.
Super, thanks, Andrea.
Sure.
And I'm gonna follow that. We're jumping right into the 70s because this week in 1977, Janet Guthrie qualified for the Indianapolis 500. She was the first woman ever to qualify for the race. She recorded a speed of 188.4 miles an hour, the fastest of 9 last day trial runs, and a record for a woman. Yeah. But yeah, it said qualifying in Indianapolis is a major accomplishment in any race driver's career. As for the symbolism of having women race drivers, the fact I'm now in the 500 should prove there's no difference between men and women as race drivers. She was awesome. I don't think she won, but it was a great step. A couple, this one kind of bothered me from 1977, and this is the reason why we don't have all private schools. It says boarding school scheme uncovered. In Providence, Rhode Island, a Rhode Island couple allegedly took payment for 9 children to attend a private boarding school, but kept them in a roadside cabin in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And the scheme was uncovered when one of the defendants told the father he had to pay $5,000 for the safe return of his kids. Anyway, that's, yeah, anybody can pretend to be a teacher and run a school and say, oh, yeah, well, send them out to Santa Fe. We've got a nice campus, and we've got fancy brochures, and it's a high, nice place, but parents shouldn't come. And, yeah, they take advantage of you. This one was so funny. The headline is Bible verse discourages rape try. And it's the story from Detroit. Says this lady awoke to find the man in her bedroom. She screamed, and after a scuffle, he demanded her money. She was a Federal Reserve Bank employee. She only had $2. So she gave it to him. And he got mad, then said he wanted her body. The 5-foot-tall woman said, I told him he'd have to kill me. First, I told him I could not give my body to any man because I had given my life and my body to the Lord. Seeing the man was stunned by her statement, she demanded a chance to read a couple verses from her Bible. And she says she didn't know why she went to the Bible. She just knew she wanted it. And it let me know beyond a doubt. It let her know beyond a doubt that when Jesus said he's always with us, he always is. She told the robber the wages of sin is death. And she hurriedly looked for passages to read. And after about 10 minutes of religious lecture, she convinced the man to leave. He tossed her $2 back at her and then hesitated and said he really needed it. So she told him to keep it. But it says for a person not knowing anything about God, it wouldn't have meant a thing, but he stood there and listened. So, I mean, maybe, you know, next time you're getting robbed or getting raped, start quoting the Bible, because you know, somebody with a real conscience will get it. I read this story, and it brought back a song, brought back the memory of a song. And Michael probably know what I'm talking about when I read this. It says, Wonder Dog gets convoy tribute. Story from Greenfield, Mass. in 1977. Bright summer sun dropped below the horizon as a convoy of 150 trucks and cars wound quietly down Mohawk Trail to fulfill the last wish of Tommy Copley. And Tommy's voice had been a familiar one to area CB radio users the last 2 years. His last wish was another tribute from the caravan that visited him last year when he was dying of cancer. More than 350 of his friends from Connecticut, New York, and Vermont gathered at a local school and drove single file without disrupting traffic down Route 2 to a Shelburne Falls funeral home. 6 18-wheelers were among the vehicles that arrived at the funeral home, where drivers got out and filed silently past the casket. The funeral for the 5th grader, known as Wonder Dog to his Citizen Band radio friends, was to be held on the day that this paper was published. These are working people, said a man from Greenfield whose CB identity is Batman. And Tommy had been sick for 4 years, but managed to win an Outstanding Player Award in Little League Baseball. He also competed in youth basketball and was visited by Boston Celtics center Dave Cowens in the hospital. So, and it brought back the story, the song Teddy Bear.
Teddy Bear. Yeah.
Remember Teddy Bear?
Teddy Bear.
Yeah. These next two
Give you a go, too.
stories that I pulled, the first one was from the first day, which was Friday, May 27th. It says skyscraper scaler plans more daring exploits, and it was about a guy that was climbing skyscrapers. The next day, the bigger story broke, because this guy was arrested. His name was George Willig, and he was a toy maker and a mountain climber and a skyscraper scaler extraordinaire. He was 27 years old at the time. And when they asked him why he climbed the World Trade Center, he said, because it's considered by some to be an ugly building, but it's very appealing just by the fact that it's 2 of them. But he was going around the country scaling all these huge buildings and getting arrested at the top. Now, the city of New York was going to fine him, was going to sue him for $250,000. And the next day in the paper, it read, lawsuit against climber dropped amid applause. Apparently, they were going to sue him, but later when officials placed the police cost of his escapade at $2,500, they decided not to pursue the suit. And what was he fined? 1 penny a floor. $1.10 was his total fine. So, all right. Where am I going? I got plenty of time. Plenty of time, guys. Don't worry about it. We'll do this one first, because this is in the news today. Gas prices keep climbing and climbing and climbing. 1977, this article, Good Driving Saves Gas. And it was just they tested a bunch of cars and came up with several steps to save fuel without cutting down on your travel. Drive at moderate speeds. Most cars get about 21% more miles per gallon on the highway at 50 miles an hour than they do at 70 miles an hour. So, drive a little slower, accelerate smoothly, and save engines, tires, and gasoline. Simple, right? Nice, smooth, no tromping on the gas, squealing the tires, that kind of stuff. Waste too much gas. Prices back then, they were probably pushing $1 a gallon, and people were freaking. But by midsummer, we're going to be pushing $4 a gallon. And so apparently, there was a gas crisis in the 70s. 30 years later, 30 years of government, different presidents, Republicans, Democrats, there have been both in office, and nothing has got better. Oil companies are digging the biggest friggin' profits they've ever seen. Tens of billions of dollars every quarter going into some fat cat's pocket. And in turn, lining the government's pockets. I'm sorry, but you have to separate business and government. I don't care if church and state get together. Let's keep business and state apart. You know? God, the church never raised the prices of anything. You know, you can put a penny in the plate when it comes around, and you're just as welcome as if you put $1,000. You know? A couple other things. Drive at a steady pace and avoid stop and go. Minimize braking by anticipating speed changes. Drive smart. I mean, that's basically the whole gist of the thing, is drive smart. You'll save fuel. Slow down. You'll save fuel.
Stab yourself on the attention.
You know,
Hey, Rick, I got an email today that said people should top off their tanks because within the next few days it's going to jump 40 cents a gallon.
I heard that
40.
today, too. I heard that today, too. Yeah. And it's unbelievable. And I mean, how can you just, I mean, you cannot go without gas. It's one thing as an American culture, we cannot live without this friggin' fix of fuel for our cars. You know, and it would probably be cheaper if we left the cars parked in the dooryard, if everybody that drove a car went out and spent as much money as it takes to fill their car with gasoline, spend that money on heroin, and just sit at home and shove the needle into your arm. You know? I mean, my God, it's stupid. And you'd probably end up saving money. I don't know. God, it's getting warm in here. Trying not to get too fired up because it is hot in here. We'll go with Mike Blasto Says, because Mike Blasto says in 1977, which I think is pertinent today. He says, here's a great big salute to radio station WKNE, now celebrating its 50th year on the air. KNE started as a 10-watt station in Springfield, Vermont, just 1 month after Lindbergh's flight, so they didn't broadcast the great news story of 1927. And they were known as WNBX. It was the first licensed station in Vermont and the second in New Hampshire. That may not sound like much, but there are a few sections of the country that can boast of a radio station as old as WKNE. Today, WKNE is still famous for responsible broadcasting, having joined the CBS network in 1937, and has been booming out with a loud, clear signal on a 5,000 watts since 1940. Yes, happy birthday, WKNE. May you continue to unite the region in the next half century as you did during your first. So, yeah. Oh, sorry. Easy there, Greg. You might have to take to the ladder. So yeah, so if KNE was 50 years old in 1977, that means this year WKNE is 80 years old. Isn't that amazing? 80 years old. So, all right, that's the 70s. It's time for the CD review. This week I picked a long one. It's David Allan Coe, live at Billy Bob's. And I'm going to show the inside of this too, because this is a freaky dude. He started out, I would say, he must have started making music in the 50s. And this one was put out in 2003, a live album. Got all his great hits. For some of you people who don't know the name David Allan Coe, he wrote, he made famous the song, You Never Even Called Me By My Name. He also wrote Take This Job and Shove It, who Johnny Paycheck made famous, but David Allan Coe wrote it. And that song's been done by a bunch of people. The Dead Kennedys actually did that song in half the time that it was meant to be done in. But it's got a great guitar solo in the third track, Son of the South. It's got some great banjo music in Lay My Money Down, I think. It's outlaw country. He's written everything from rodeo songs to songs about Harleys, songs cracking on Michael Jackson. He wrote a song at one time called Divers Do It Deeper. It's not on this album, but the one that is on this album is Time Off for Bad Behavior. And what was the other one? Long-Haired Redneck is another one he was famous for. Just great country rock. These days he hangs out. He does shows with like Uncle Kracker and Kid Rock and Pantera. He's in with all those guys. But this is live at Billy Bob's in Texas, and there was a little sticker on the outside of the case that says "The Original Outlaw, Uncensored." And there are a few words in there that younger children might not want to listen to, but an awesome CD, one of the best I've ever heard. Anyway, see if you can find it. CD, Out and About. A lot of things happening this weekend. Those aren't it. Of course, this being Memorial Day weekend, you're probably going to want to watch being out on the road, not only for gas prices, but because the cops are going to be looking for the DWI people and the people out driving crazy. But this weekend, Saturday night at Gino's, the barbecue band. Saturday night at a little bar called the Hot Spot up in Rockingham. It's at the old Rockingham Motor Inn on Route 5. It's called the Everyday Inn now. And they're having a band called Intercept, rock and roll band. And that's a great place to party up there. Let me tell you, you go early, get a motel room, walk to the bar, crawl back to your room. It's so nice. You don't have to even leave the parking lot. It's great. But yeah, Intercept is playing there this weekend. At the drive-in, Northfield Drive-In is open. This weekend at the Northfield Drive-In, Pirates of the Caribbean 3 is being shown first before Wild Hogs. That's the one with Tim Allen and the guys, the motorcycle gang? That looks like a great double bill. Milford Drive-In has Screen 1 has Pirates and Wild Hogs. Screen 2 has Shrek 3 and Spider-Man 3. So, yeah. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Colonial is something called Air Guitar Nation, which I don't really know what it is. Now, when I do my out and about, I just want to point out to people that I don't give a lot of specifics. I just give you the ideas. You can get up off your rear ends and do some of the work yourself. Find out about cover charges, times, things like that. I want to talk about a little gem here in Keene with the season coming on. A little place called Wheelock Park Campground. And a lot of people may not know that Wheelock Park even has a campground. But it opens, I believe, in May, the end of May, and they're open all summer. And I think they've got like 40 sites in there. My grandparents actually ran that the first few years that it was open, before they had the little log cabin out there. And we used to camp out there every summer as kids. And it's one of those places where everybody knows when you go camping and you get to the camping area, you always forget something. This is like, you're 2 minutes from a city. But if you go out there prepared with everything that you need, you can sit out there in Wheelock Park Campground for a week and not even realize you're in the middle of a city. It's great. You walk over, they've got the softball games in evenings, the horseshoe pits, the swimming pool, the whole. I mean, what a nice campground. So maybe you should see about going out and spending some time out at Wheelock Park Campground. All right. And that's my out and about. And I've got a bunch of time left. We hit a couple of news stories that I missed, current news. this was in the strange news briefs from Camden, Arkansas. Seems restaurant employees at a McDonald's called police at about 12:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning after waiting 15 minutes for a man to drive from the first window to the second window at the drive-thru. And when the police got there, they found the man asleep in his car with the engine running and his foot on the brake. And when they woke him up, he offered him $10 for his food. He blew a .19, so he was a little drunk, you know. So a tip, if you're drinking and you know that you can't make it from window 1 to window 2, bypass McDonald's and go straight home. All right. I brought some more dumb laws back because some of these are great. This is dumb laws from Canada, in case anybody this summer decides to go up to Canada. You may not pay for any 50-cent item with only pennies in Canada. Apparently you can be shot for that or something.
Let me interrupt you and just let you forgot all about the gas pill. This brandy new invention that we saw
That's
last
right,
week.
yeah. Sorry, I'll
would've been
skip the
great
rules
to
and
go
I'll
along
skip the
with
laws
that.
in Canada. Thanks for reminding me, Bruce. I wish you brought it up when I was talking about the gas stuff.
I thought you took notes.
I did, but I've got them scattered all over here. I don't know what I'm looking at. Yeah, during the race this weekend on Speed Channel, there was an advertisement for this pill, the gas pill. Some incredible breakthrough in technology. You put a pill in your gas tank, you get better gas mileage, your car runs better, you're happier. But with Bruce has his DVR on and we paused it, and if you get up really close to the screen and read the fine print, it says this thing can cause side effects, such as blurred headlights, elevated oil pressure, and if your car idles too high for more than 4 hours, you should take it to a mechanic. And then the last thing I thought was great. It comes up in the ordering thing that it's also available in suppository form. Just put it in your exhaust pipe. Yeah, some new breakthrough. I don't know. The side effects seem way too bad to even try it in my car. I'll just stick to STP or something. Oh, all right. 30 seconds. Thanks, man. Where's my closing? I want to thank my crew, Jane and Mike and Greg and the head and Bruce and Andrea. I want to thank Nick for keeping the place open, Lee for all his help and input. I want to thank my sponsors, Mom's Tattoo and Gemini Screen Print. And they're working hard on our T-shirts, too. Till next week, have a safe weekend.